Manually. We are live with another episode of the Daredevil Born Again After Show. This is the After Show brought to you by the Keeg, where we literally have watched the episode of Daredevil Born Again that just came out. It just dropped like 2 hours ago. We watched it, and now we're here to talk about it, specifically episode 8. I'm your host, Dimithri Perera, and
your co-host, Sara.
And we also have a special guest for today. You know him. You love him. You know him as Freddy's roommate. Or you know him as Justin. It's Justin, a.k.a. Freddy's roommate.
Howdy, y'all. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk about Daredevil with you guys. I'm so sad that I couldn't talk to you guys earlier about this show because I have so many thoughts. But you know what they say, the best cure for a black eye is fast hands. So we'll see how many black eyes I get during the show.
I think we need to enunciate when you say black eyes, just like when people say...
What do you mean?
It sounds like it's... Okay, it's like...
cure
it's
for
like
black guys?
It's like the Key and Peele sketch with black ice.
Oh
Have
my
you seen that,
gosh.
You know that sketch? Anyway, we gotta over-enunciate.
Wait, speaking of black guys, why didn't you guys... I thought we were all wearing black. Dimithri, this is a black and white ball podcast. What are you doing?
I'm wearing my Fantastic Four shirt because I don't have a Daredevil shirt. And so, you know, I was anyways wearing this shirt and I decided to. If you guys are watching us live, you can see our shirts. You're watching us maybe on youtube.com/The Keeg Show or twitch.tv/The Keeg Show, or maybe you're listening to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. And no matter how you're digesting us, whether you're watching us or just listening to us, thank you for that. Like, comment, subscribe, do that stuff. Let us know you're out there. Hop in the chat if you're watching us live. You can see our lovely faces if you're watching us live, and if not, then our voices will have to do. But yes, I'm wearing a Fantastic Four shirt, so you know, it's Marvel. I was anyways wearing it, so I was like, I didn't have to change. So
all right.
Justin, were you a fan of the original Daredevil Netflix show?
I was. I think it's the best Marvel television project ever. Like, like there has not been any Marvel television product that has come close to any of the seasons of Daredevil. And that isn't to say that they aren't good. They're just the best Marvel television ever.
It depends what you want, right?
Like, out of everything we could ask for a Marvel television show, to be honest with you, and that's just me. I know my opinion is not objective, but if we want to go down the list, like Hawkeye's not touching any 3 seasons of Daredevil.
No.
Yeah, we know that.
Miss Marvel is not touching any of these seasons.
Well, but in what?
Maybe WandaVision. But it's so different that it's comparing like apples and oranges.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think Miss Marvel and WandaVision are really solid.
Not until Miss Marvel really falls apart for me at the end.
On the final episode?
The final 2 or 3 episodes, it just kind of like dissolves. Like weirdly dissolves.
The time travel part?
Yeah, the time travel part, and then they got rid of their main villain, and then there was a secondary villain that we didn't really get to know. You know what? This is not a Miss Marvel pod.
That's classic Netflix. But that's classic Netflix MCU. Is like
that's classic. Like that's classic Disney Plus.
No,
that's
but even
classic Disney Plus.
Netflix MCU. Tell me that the end of Jessica Jones season 1 wasn't a satisfying ending.
Oh, it's great.
Like the thing about the Netflix Marvel shows, I think, is they knew how to end a season.
Right.
And this Disney Plus does not know how to end a season. I remember I was with WandaVision until the last episode, and then I was like, why? Why did we do that? Same thing with Moon Knight. Moon Knight was chugging along, and then that last episode, I was like, oh.
What happened here?
Yeah. Oh, there's a giant crocodile and a giant bird skull fighting in
I
the
wouldn't
sky.
have minded that if it was tighter around the edges. Like, that part's, like, I can imagine 2 gods fighting, but what else is there? You know?
It was anyway.
All I'm trying to say is Luke Cage season 1, where they built up Mahershala Ali's character, Cottonmouth, and then just like killed him.
Okay.
And then Diamondback's like, and I'm your brother. So
Yeah, which is why I was talking about Daredevil.
okay, I like all 3 seasons of Daredevil. I think
Yes. I mean, all of the, I mean, I have my complaints, but like, who doesn't? But when it comes to like solid television, it's yet to be topped, in my
I,
opinion. So I had very high hopes for Born Again. So,
so I made a terrible mistake,
uh-oh.
what
which
is.
is that I rewatched season 2 of Daredevil a lot because it's my favorite season,
Mm.
um, and because of that, I started off the show being like, whatever, at least Karen Page is gone because I hate Karen Page. And I realized I hate
What?
Karen Page in season 2. I hate the love triangle with Elektra. I
Why?
hate season 2 Karen Page, but I love I like season 3 Karen Page and I like season 1 Karen Page. So I was just
Wow.
realizing that the reason I was so anti Karen Page is because the most I had seen her is in season 2, but I just
Mhm.
finished rewatching season 3. Um, so I hadn't finished rewatching before Born Again. So like on Saturday I finished rewatching season 3 and I was like, what a mistake that was. Like that's
Well, here's a
like
twofold question,
if
Sarah.
you haven't eaten anything in 5 years and then you eat a Lunchable, that Lunchable is going to taste good. But if
Yeah.
you just had steak and then
Wow.
2 days later you have a Lunchable, you're going to be like, this tastes like shit. And then you're going to be so confused with everyone on the internet being like, it's peak. And I'm like, it was bad.
Yeah.
Dang. All right
That's my
then.
take. I'm
Okay.
like,
Okay.
I'm sorry, not to hop in, but I've been like, I've been trying to be nice. I've been like, I love
Mm.
Daredevil. I love Charlie Cox's Daredevil. I love D'Onofrio's Kingpin. Like, I love these characters. And I've been like, say something nice, And this is the episode where I was like, it's tipped me
It's
over into,
over.
It's
it's
funny you
tipped me,
say
Interesting.
that because I differ, but okay.
yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
Um something, Justin, that we were talking about in previous episodes is the fact that like this show was kind of originally filmed and then it was like reshot and retooled a little bit, not to the
Right.
extent of like Echo, because Echo ended up being just a mess and it was sad to see
Right.
because of their reshoots and retools and whatnot. But this one, I mean, it was Sarah's theory that like episode 1 didn't exist at first and that episode 2 was episode 1 the original way,
Okay.
and that they filmed episode 1 to sort of give us that epilogue or prologue,
Okay.
should I say. And like, because like, but I can see the seams, and that's kind of what's been happening with this whole season is like
Mhm.
seeing the seams of everything get stitched together. I mean, I'll be honest, I like this episode. I think this episode was something different than previous episodes. Like this episode knew what it was doing. Like it was a tonal difference too.
Mhm.
Like I feel that I'm happier with this episode, and I liked episode 5, of course. But I feel like this might be a new creative team. Like when did they change teams?
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't know your thoughts about the entire season, to be honest with you, but
Mm.
there are moments of brilliance in this Daredevil Born Again that I'm like, wow, they really had a vision for this. Like, I think the bank robbery, I think you can put that up with any of the 3 seasons. Excellent bottle episode. I love the villain. I think he gave a wonderful performance.
And
I th
also, he was so hot.
yeah, oh my
Who, the
gosh, so
Irish guy?
charming. Yes.
Yeah.
He
Oh.
was very charming. I think that was an excellent use, and especially I love I said this on my podcast, still scrolling, by the way. A podcast all about pop culture news. We also talk about Daredevil, the Devil. Anyway, what I don't like is when these shows and movies kill off the secondary characters because they are such valuable story tissue.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is that if we were in a healthy Marvel universe, Ben Urich would have been working at the Bugle, and BB Urich would be working at the Bugle, and everyone would get the text alert for the bugle, right? And you would get your new, you know what I mean? And you would see these reporters in different projects, and they wouldn't have like big scenes, but you'd be like, oh, this like that. An example of this would have been like Foggy being Luke Cage's lawyer. It's not a huge deal, but you're like, that makes perfect sense. And then when he sees Luke Cage again in Defenders, you're like, that's their connective tissue. And so I mourn those moments when we don't get Ben Urich anymore because he died. I
Yeah,
mourn those moments when we
we're
don't have a
missing a
Foggy.
Claire. Yeah, we're missing a Claire Temple, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
like
Mm.
those shared connections that can make a universe really feel lived in. And you don't need to have Spider-Man swing in or anything, you know what I mean, like that. But what I don't like about Daredevil Born Again is don't kill off Foggy and replace him and give all the Foggy lines to Cherry. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's Cherry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It-
Like it's that's the role. At the very least, give Cherry a unique perspective and a unique role. So when like he does the wagging owl, oh my God.
Uh-oh.
I heard that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just I don't have great peripheral vision like White Tiger. I'm so sorry. Anyways, um
I mean, it's
Dang.
funny you bring him up.
Dang.
I wonder if in this direction from this episode onwards, whether White Tiger or Punisher even matters.
I think they matter. It's
Are they
just like when I
forgotten?
no, I don't think they're forgotten. What I was saying is like Cherry for me, characters like Cherry, that falls flat for me because I only known him for what, 2 minutes out of like these 8 episodes, where it's 2 minutes of screen time total. And when he wags the finger at Daredevil, like that doesn't land for me. You know what I'm saying? So what's the point of getting rid of Foggy if you're just gonna have someone else say Foggy lines?
Yeah.
But when the show paves a new path, like the bank robbery episode, I'm like, this is brilliant. This is such a good use of these characters and the powers and the cinematic universe because you have this marvelous dad talking about like perfect threading of the needle. And then when you get to this episode, you you look at characters like Deck Poindexter, right? And you're thinking like, okay, here's the big moment. Like he's going to reveal like a side of himself, like, or we get more insight into that, and we just don't for some reason. And I'm
Mm.
confused about what we want this show to be.
Right.
Do we want it to be like the Netflix show? Or do we just want to use the same symbols and names to provoke a reaction that we haven't really set up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's going into this trying to figure out, like, or they're going into it with what they want. And I don't hold it against any of these productions for not doing it the way I would have done it, because who am I? And they are the ones doing it, right? Like, I can't fault it, like anyone for making those choices different. But I
Right.
can think to myself, like, did they pull off what they actually wanted to?
Mm.
So my thing is, I think a lot of people did not like episode 5. They called it filler. They said it was pointless. And
What?
for me, so many people. And I think that the thing is, episode 5 to me seemed like it was the way that they were describing the show before the new creative team came in, because it was supposed to be like more of a case of the week, a little bit more like lighthearted. That's why I think episode 3, the trial, I think is also because that was supposed to be a specific type of episode. So it's worrying to me because I'm finding the episodes that seem to be left over from the original creators more enjoyable than the new ones. And when you say like, oh, I can't fault the production, I was like, I'm salty today, but I was like, I can. I think it's like
Ooh.
anyone who's ever put on eyeliner, and you guys might not get this metaphor, but if you have a person in your life that puts on eyeliner, you put on one side, and then the other side's uneven. Oh, I did this one too thick. Okay, I'm gonna make the other one too thick. Okay, well now this one's okay, and then you do it, and you know what you should have done? You should have just wiped the eyeliner off and start again. If you have half of a show, and you decide, this isn't the show we want to make, and you decide to just chop up little pieces of it and try to fit it into what you want to do, it's gonna make a disjointed show where we don't have time to do anything. So we have to just say things like, But you think this is the only name I write under? I've known all along, right? You have to take these leaps where it's like, we've cut down 30% of vigilante crime. And I have to write down in my notes, have you? We haven't seen the task force do anything.
Yeah. Well, the task
Right?
force in this is specifically different than the task force, I think, in the last episode, where you're like, didn't I bring up, was it last episode, Sarah, where I brought up, like, oh, we're the task force, and, like, I guess we're cool cops now. Like, we're okay.
Yeah.
Was that, like, last episode? I feel like there's a big jump in between.
And Matt,
like,
well, that's, there's just so much stuff where they're like, oh, oops, we forgot to tell you we forgot to show these cops are corrupt in like 3 episodes, so quick, burn this guy's hand off. And it was like, what? Like, they just have so many things. Like, the White Tiger stuff was so compelling and so interesting. And then the next episode, he was like, can't believe it happened. And even in this episode, they mentioned it, and he was like, we defended White Tiger and he got killed anyway. And I was like, anyway? You got him killed, Matt. Not we killed him, they killed him anyway. You are responsible for that man's murder.
I don't think the show reckoned with, is Matt a bad lawyer?
Yeah.
He might be a bad lawyer.
But it's like a different Matt from episode to episode. So if the original creative vision has a completely different take on your main character,
right,
you cannot keep any of those episodes.
Because the message
like
is
that
different.
has to go away.
Yeah.
Because the whiplash I'm getting on who is this Matt Murdock is wild. And I think, again, I did myself a disservice by rewatching at the same time. Because in season 3 of Netflix's Daredevil, even when he was being a whiny little dick, like, it still seemed like Matt Murdock. Whereas this episode, when he's, like, bickering with Heather, I'm like, oh my god, break up already. You guys suck. Like,
oh
this
my
is, like,
gosh.
the worst. I've not seen one, like, happy moment in this relationship.
Yeah.
Like, since their first date.
They keep saying I'm in love, or I love you, or whatever. And it's
yeah.
Like, I feel like there's a lot missing. That's just, like, what I feel. Like, you know? By the way, shout out to anyone out there on our Twitch or on our YouTube. We draw our chat from our YouTube. So we got a couple of people in our YouTube chat right now. Matthew Levine says, I got really mad at the last chapter because I had to save him. I'm not quite sure exactly what that means. But we'll get to that if Matthew comes back. Improv GM says there's an excellent 12 to 16 episode season in this 9 episode show. Yes, but then there's also another 9 episodes, which is the next season, which is kind of the same season.
I saw someone made, a mutual of mine on TikTok made a video, and they were kind of talking about where is it going? How could we possibly wrap anything up? Like, what's of me? And so, the question she posed was, where is this season going? And someone commented and said it's going to season 2, and I was like, no, that is not an answer to that question.
It's like Squid Game season 2, where season 2 and season 3 of Squid Game is like one season, and I hated it. I didn't hate the season. I just was like, it ended, and I was like, it's not over. It's not. What?
It's not over. It still isn't over.
It's weird.
Notebook,
I think,
anybody? All right.
No, I'm sorry. I think there's a lot missing. I feel like this episode set up like, oh, these are what the characters are, but it doesn't link to the past episodes. Like, whoever these characters are. You know? Especially BB, right? Like, in this episode, BB says, like, she's been figuring it out all along, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, oh, okay, cool, good for you. I wish you were, like, BB hadn't done anything up until this point.
But haven't you been watching the BB Report?
Is there a side webisode sort of thing? Is there, like...
I'm surprised that there isn't. I would have loved the BB Report.
But like, also, actually, if we had been seeing these alternate news reports coming out, oh, someone's criticizing Fisk, someone's showing what's really happening, and then and then BB says, "You think I only write under my own name?" Then we'd be going, "Oh, is that her?" But we don't. We haven't seen any of that. So like,
Right.
why would we care about it's so I'm so frustrated because I want to like it so much. And I just don't. I'm so sad. Like I'm genuinely I think that's why I'm so like riled up about it.
Yeah.
Is because I really wanted it to be
Mm.
good. And I kept being like, hold on, there's a lot of game left, but there's no longer a lot of game left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Improv GM in our chat says it feels like a Marvel crossover where you haven't read some of the series. So yeah, in comics, sometimes crossover events are like one chapter of the crossover event is in one series and it hops from series to series and you get like a whole 12 issues in 2 months. Yeah, except those episodes or issues don't exist.
Yeah.
Like, or they've been burned or whatever. Like Marvel's like, we got it finished, but we're just gonna burn it. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like all the stress on some of these characters that we haven't seen for 7 episodes, 6 episodes, right? Like, and then suddenly they're back to being like, oh yeah, we've been following them the whole time, and it's like, no, what? I mean, let's take it step by step. Bullseye. Here's the thing. Although I'm complaining, I did say earlier that I like this episode. It is disjointed, but at the very least, I thought they were just gonna kind of back off of the corrupt cops are Punisher stands. You know, I thought they were backing off of that because
we haven't come back on that actually.
Yeah, we haven't
Like,
come back on that.
dang.
We just know that
right,
they did.
but the corruption part at least.
Yeah.
Right. I thought they were just gonna be like, yeah, cops are just out there. You know, they're doing the best. You know, and it's like because like they backed off of that one guy being like, my father's father, my father, and my brother are all cops, and we have never done anything bad in our life. And then his heartbeat's like steady, and Matt's like, you're right. Even though we fought to the death in an apartment last episode.
As George Costanza would say, it's not a lie if you believe it. So,
oh my god,
he was not lying. He just thinks that he's a good guy, even though he burned a man's hand off. And also, Commissioner Gallo, maybe you shouldn't be talking to this young reporter when you just saw a reporter get his hand boiled off.
That was so weird. Justin changed his wallpaper. It like it's Muse in the back, but you did it. It looked like the scene in this episode where like wait, was it in this episode? Anyway, it just looked like you got shot in the head and there was blood.
R.I.P. Muse.
You know? So Bullseye starts off. The episode starts off with Bullseye in prison, and they're like, "We're gonna move you to Gen Pop," and they move him to Gen Pop, and he's fine.
Yeah, he'll be alright.
Like, does everybody like? Were they expecting like 500 people to jump Bullseye at that point? Or
here's the thing.
Like, what?
The problem with Bullseye being in Gen Pop is not that Gen Pop would kill Bullseye. The problem is Bullseye killing all of Gen Pop.
Right.
Like, oh my god.
Like Punisher, when Punisher was in the prison with Kingpin.
Oh, that scene
is
so
different.
Good.
It's different though. Like at least Frank Castle has some sense of morality or empathy, like the tiniest bit. Like the problem with Bullseye is that he has no empathy.
Yeah.
What a great Marvel villain. And I'm surprised he's not on the Thunderbolts. Cause what a like literally put Bullseye on the raft. Could you imagine? Like one of the things that I loved about the Suicide Squad was everyone is very regretful and wants to be a better person, except one member on the squad who's actually an asshole. Who's at the time. And then the show came out, and James Gunn felt bad for a white supremacist. Anyway, that's beside the point. Anyways, I think that kind of person needs to live forever. Please do not kill Bullseye. He's one of the better Marvel villains we've had in a long time.
So I agree with you. I'm going to push back, though. I don't think the movie Thunderbolts is a team of villains like they are in the comic. But I will say I want a big old team, a crossover team of villains, and Bullseye needs to be on it. And call it the Masters of Evil, call it whatever you want. but Bullseye needs to be like.
No, that's the brilliant part is that you don't put him with the worst of the worst degenerates because he'll just be a degenerate. You put him with people who were degenerates. Like imagine Poindexter right next to what's his name? US Agent.
Yeah.
We hate US Agent.
I hate US Agent.
But he's not as like I hate him the appropriate way of like, wow, he's a great Marvel character and I want to see more of him. I hate his guts because he's so like full of himself. But next to Poindexter, I might have to root for US Agent.
Right.
And then you're putting that's brilliant, you know?
No, I want to see Yelena Belova try to be Dex's North Star and guide him to make the right moral decisions.
And it never fucking works.
Well,
that's brilliant. Oh my gosh. I hope you move him up. Anyways,
here's what happens in the comics with Dark Avengers. So Dark Avengers is almost like a play on a play on a play of the whole history of the Thunderbolts, and then them wearing Avengers costumes to be the Avengers when the Avengers are on the run or whatever, not working with Norman Osborn. Bullseye isn't the only like serial killer on the team. It's just that he's a different type of serial killer. So you could put him on a team with horrible, horrible people, not US Agent level horrible. I'm saying like Moonstone or like Toxie, I think was her name. She was like a poison-based sort of thing. Or Venom. But like Venom and him are two different types of villains. They both killed a bunch of people. But I'm saying Bullseye could go anywhere and like be cool being a foil to like other people. You know? He is a very specific type.
Down to the performance of it. Anyways, this isn't a pro Bullseye podcast.
Well, not pro Bullseye, but pro seeing Bullseye. Why?
Yes.
You know?
Exactly. I'm just surprised that they didn't bring that up because, like, I was talking about this in another podcast, how when the Doomsday cast was announced, it made me realize, oh, wait, the MCU heroes are vastly underpowered compared to the Fox X-Men. I don't think any of them are. I think a large majority of people on that Doomsday roster don't even get past Mystique. They don't even get past Nightcrawler, right? But they don't. Like, truthfully, you know? But when it comes to like characters like this, God, I would want to see him again. And I'm surprised that no one brought that up. No, it's not a red level event where like, oh shit, Poindexter escaped? Fuck. Batten down the hatches. Everyone cancel everything. Stay in your homes. Why is that not like there's Thanos and then there's Poindexter. Like legitimately like could kill you like with a thumbtack with his own tooth.
His own tooth.
Fuck.
I think it was like, oh man, it was cruel and unusual, I think, to give us the tooth thing and then have it not be more than that. To have it be like, he took out 2 people with a tooth. And I was like, show me. And then just like got in a disguise and left. And I was like, please show him killing way more people than that.
You're telling me none of those guards know
like
what
no bloodbath
looks like?
I literally wrote that in my notes. I literally wrote, how could no one recognize him?
The most deadliest man in New York. Nobody know. None of those prison guards knows what Poindexter. None of those prison guards know where their coworker looks like. Are you kidding?
They would have done a cool 15-second shot. Imagine this. That guy being like, tough day, right? Or whatever. What if he turned and he was like, holy shit, or like he was just like whatever, and then he takes
out everyone on the bus.
We get a shot from outside the bus. We get a shot from outside the bus as people are fighting, and then blood splatter, right? And then the bus shakes, and then that's it. 15 seconds of like.
That's when you play dumb.
He kills everybody on the bus, and he drove himself away. Cool.
Yeah, and then I don't know why he chose such a specific gun that apparently only has 1 bullet in it. Like, it's everyone is just standing around. Kingpin's like, whoa, what just happened? Shoot Kingpin again. Like, I don't understand the end of this episode. It's like,
yeah,
you're standing there staring instead of shooting Kingpin again, remember he put your North Star on ice. Like, what's happening? Like, just do another bullet. But also, like, wild to think that Kingpin would not. Wild to think that Dex wouldn't shoot Kingpin in the head. Like, I know for plot reasons it had to be the chest, but come on.
How in what world does Bullseye miss?
Well,
he didn't miss. Matt jumped in front.
Matt jumped in the way.
It's
But
like, really, damn.
here's what I thought was going to happen. I thought that because they switched partners and Bullseye didn't see them switch partners, they switched partners before Bullseye, that he was going to shoot Vanessa, quote unquote, but actually kill Heather.
Yeah, that's
because Matt was the one who forced the switch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Matt's fault that Heather would have died. Or she doesn't die. She just gets like pretty wounded, and she goes even more anti-vigilante.
Yeah,
like,
and then she'll be okay next episode with no visible scar on her arm where she was.
I think time has passed. Has time passed in between last episode and this? Because it seems like a lot of time has passed.
I don't know. Last episode they said you could take her home today. I don't know. I don't know how much time has passed at all in any of these episodes.
Yeah, I don't know.
There was a
lot missing.
This episode is really good on paper though. Like having a ball episode.
I liked it. I'm still saying I liked it.
I don't know. There's something to me that's like, hey. What if every time Bullseye does Bullseye stuff, we make the lighting blue? And it's like, yeah, what if?
What was it? What is the symbol? Because there was a blue rose.
Is that a throwback to Netflix? Because I don't remember him.
There's a blue rose in the beginning of this
because his superhero outfit's blue.
Wait, what's the blue rose though?
Are we? I think we're forgetting. Okay. It has to be a reference.
So
I just rewatched season 3.
I'm gonna go back.
I literally stopped on Saturday.
I'm gonna go back to the chat because they're saying some things. First thing, Harith. What's up to Harith out there? Harith says, I just want to see more Wilson Bethel in MCU projects. The actor who plays Bullseye.
Yeah, he's delightful.
Improv GM says, is there a more famous villain in that prison? It just seems like a normal prison, right? So Bullseye is the most famous. So
the guard should know. Is a good point because Bullseye should be on the raft.
Yeah.
Not like forget about the leader. Bullseye? Are you kidding? Right. Oh my gosh.
Harith says, Bullseye was a former cop. He was able to blend in. Like a cop or like Inspector Clouseau level disguises. Like what's like he should be that's not a cop.
That man on the bus looked him in the eyes.
Yeah, and he was like, tough day, huh, buddy? Like what?
How's he alive?
Improv GM says, when Bullseye says the hero defends his arch enemy, I knew something was happening with Kingpin. Harith says Bullseye was letting his anger seep in. The blue color grading plus the sound design is what they used in season 3 to show when Bullseye is in his angry place.
The sound design they did, but not the color grading.
Okay.
Because he was in a red suit. It would have looked bizarre if they did a blue color grading.
So I enjoyed it. Poindexter top 10 Daredevil MCU.
Top 10 Daredevil villains. Can you name 9 more?
9 more? Shit. Okay. There's Kingpin.
Yes. Okay.
Typhoid Mary.
Okay. Cool. So we're at 3. There's 7 left.
Elektra.
Oh yeah. Cool.
The Hand.
As the organization. Okay.
Madame Gao.
Madame Gao is the Hand, right? Like she counts.
Are they separate or not?
I don't know. I think Madame Gao runs the Hand, right?
Okay, I'm gonna say Skull Elektra.
What's Skull Elektra?
Scroll.
Oh, Skrull Elektra.
Skrull Elektra. Does she count?
Okay, so point is, yes, I think
I'm not done.
Oh, okay, you keep going. All right.
His Catholic guilt.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Purple Man.
No, I would. Did he face?
Wait, are we talking? I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about the next. Sorry,
just Daredevil.
I forgot.
Villains
I didn't see the prompt.
Daredevil villains. Oh my god.
Yeah, his own Catholic guilt.
His own Catholic guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know that if you watched this show.
Not enough Catholic guilt is what Sara said.
And there's so much church in season 3. It also made me mad again. That we
Matt again?
No, it made me upset again that we ended season 3 with like Sister Maggie taking on the father, the priest role, being like, "Hey, if you need someone to help you," and then it was like, "Where is she? Someone please talk to him."
In the Netflix show, is Sister Maggie his mom?
Hmm.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool. I mean, in the comics, yeah, but like,
and
I
he
forgot
finds
what
out
happened.
because she's like praying about it out loud, and I'm like, you can't pray out loud around Matt Murdock. That's a silent prayer.
Yeah, yeah. God can hear your thoughts. Matt
Yeah,
Murdock can hear everything else.
yeah.
You know.
Um,
Okay. Uh. Uh. I mean, I think this episode was kind of like closer to what I wanted. There's just so
Mm.
many. Oh, can we talk about BB Urich and what's his name? Um, what's his
Daniel
Daniel?
Oh,
Blake.
Daniel.
Daniel, but I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Yes.
I love it in that this is a really good idea on paper. The mini Wilson Fisk has a mini Ben Urich.
Mini
You know,
what?
the has a mini Ben Urich. You know, not a
Oh,
mini, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
Mm.
that relationship is mirroring itself. It's like poetry. It rhymes. You
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, but at the same time, it's the cherry problem to me. Like, don't replace this relationship with a not a subpar one, but a pale imitation of something that we really liked, you know?
I like the way you are framing pale imitation as a nicer thing to say than subpar. Like,
it's it's echoing what we loved in previous Daredevil incarnations, but without
yeah.
any of the teeth, without any of the pathos that it had in previous incarnations, right? We just in this episode we just realized that BB knows that Kingpin killed her uncle. You know, like why I'm confused as to why that isn't a constant like through line. Like, we know that, but like those moments of the BB report to me, I would have preferred more insight into BB herself as a character. Like maybe her literally interviewing these people as opposed to just the interstitials, so we can get to know BB as a reporter too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but at the same time, I think that young actor who plays Minnie Wilson Fisk, Daniel,
Yeah.
I think he's brilliant. I think he's very funny. I think he's very charismatic. And then when they're together and BB is like playing him, like she is not like this guy. Like I think that's brilliant. I really do enjoy that. At the same time, I just want meat on the bones of that relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I couldn't tell whether she was liking him or not, or like just liking being around him. But then when they reveal that like she knows all along, and then she kind of goes back, you know, it seemed like the actress was playing a character that didn't know her uncle was murdered by Wilson Fisk, and then she was playing a character that did know, as opposed to playing a character that did know who is pretending not to know. You get what I mean?
Right, 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 right.
Mhm.
I feel like so I was seeing a big switch, which is great until you take in the reality of the situation. She should be pretending she doesn't know, as opposed to playing a character who doesn't know when that
Mm-hmm.
turns on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So also, like, can you be more discreet than business cards? Like, how many times in like film noir or whatever they find like a matchbox or like a little, with the motel number on it, and it's like that's how you track people down. You can't put a business card to the police commissioner who's going to die. Like,
Who
You
is
think they're gonna kill?
clearly an enemy of Fisk and all
right
of these corrupt cops.
when the 15 anti-vigilante task force guys are in the kitchen and he's just standing there, like, come on, dude. You have to, if you know that these guys are just capable of killing you in cold blood, then you got to change your strategy here. Like, if you can't go in assuming they're just gonna be cops about it, like, and just go by the justice
Mm.
system or whatever. Like, you can't do what? Like, pick your fights, man. Also, don't take business cards from, like, out in the open.
I think it was fine. I think it was fine. I think that's more of what's it the show putting in plain English things that I'm gonna say this nicely, and I say this with all the love in my heart. Sometimes this fan base needs things properly explained on screen
Yes.
for them to get it. I think it's a symptom of that. I
Well,
think if
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, I think if like BB herself didn't say, "Yes, I know that Kingpin killed my uncle," I think the fan base, some of them, not you guys, not the beautiful, intelligent people that you are, just others that would have been a whole debate on the internet,
But
especially because
I
you know.
I also think though that I understand what you're saying, and I think that that's true. But at the same time, even the most discerning of us couldn't figure out certain things if you don't give us any clues. And that's the whole thing, is the way that they're just saying stuff. Like if we'd seen the task force doing stuff, right? If we'd seen, but it was almost like I that's my thing with the show, is I think that they keep forgetting what they're trying to set up, and then they have to be like, oh, quick, show the cops doing something corrupt. Like, oh, I forgot. Like, we have to set that up. Like, oh my gosh, Punisher's gonna kill a bunch of them in the finale. Quick, make them do something evil. And I feel like it's not so much like, oh, I already knew, right? Those of us that are paying attention already know that BB knows, right, from these clues, and then she had to come out and say it. It's like there was no possible way, nothing hinting at the fact that she had any ulterior motive or was doing this, and then having another pen name where she was actually telling the truth.
There's been no hint at another pen name. Like,
you know, like why didn't we publish the thing about Fisk being a union buster under your fake name?
Or
although maybe that's
post
because
that Daredevil took down news under your pen.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the Daily Bugle. You know what I mean? Like, it
Give
would
us
have
the Daily
been.
Bugle.
Yes, as in I'm saying, like, this connective tissue is what like lets a cinematic universe breathe. You know what I mean? So like if it was she works for the Daily Bugle and the side thing is the BB report or some other name because it's like, a secret, that would make more sense to me. You know what I'm saying? It just, I don't know. Anyways, I still love that character though,
Yeah.
someone fighting for the truth.
I also like I have to talk about the Vanessa thing.
Vanessa.
Which Vanessa thing?
Her entire situation in this episode, it was so interesting. So we start with him being like, oh, Fisk is like, hey, they're doing my project, and she's like, that's good, you deserve to be happy. And I was like, that is the coldest thing anyone has ever said to anyone. Like, that's crazy. But then by the time they get to, hey, I've been holding your boyfriend hostage for 6 months and kicking the shit out of him, but I haven't killed him because I promised you. And then she's like, oh, okay, I'll murder him in cold blood. And I was like, oh, would she do that? Is that, because we've seen Vanessa want to be more involved with the business, right? We saw her, like, are we to believe that she's become so cold-blooded in the however long Fisk was gone that she is just now chill with murdering innocent people in cold blood? Like, I have not seen anything.
I think he's innocent, but he's also a liability. So
what about Foggy?
Yeah.
Was Foggy doing anything to threaten anybody?
Yeah, he was on a case. He was about to win a case. That's what they said.
Yeah, but what was that?
It has to be tied in with the crime stuff, right?
Yeah, I guess. But it's like, I don't know. It was a weird. She hasn't been giving me very much all season, and then for her to make the turn so like quickly in this episode was,
so it didn't work for you.
It did not work for me.
Yeah. Harith out there on YouTube chat, Harith says we know that Deborah Wool is coming back for season 2. We can touch on that in a little bit.
Hooray.
Harith says, I just wish that the season would have developed BB and Daniel more instead of the street camera stuff that was clearly reshot. Yeah. Harith also says Sony wouldn't let that fly when it was talking about the Daily Bugle. That's what Sony won't let the Daily Bugle fly. Justin, we both know that. Vanessa didn't want to kill Adam, but if she let him go, he would have ratted her and Fisk out.
There's no
that's
scenario.
Just not enough. That's not enough for me, I think. I mean, but that's because I don't think I've gotten enough of Vanessa. She's been so hard to read the whole season.
Yeah.
So I think, like, no, it's okay, you can kill him, right? Like, or let's just keep him down here because we can't let him go. But she shot him so many times.
Yeah.
And then the Foggy thing, it's like she was okay with setting up Luca because, you know, he was just an idiot and he was messing stuff up, right? And then put the hit on Foggy because the witness was key that was going to bring down the Empire. Like, I thought we have established multiple times over that the system cannot contain Wilson Fisk. That's like the whole thing. Can't convict him in court, can't do anything. Matt had a whole monologue about it this time around. Like, that's the whole thing, is that it doesn't matter if you can get someone to testify, because that's what happened that's like the entirety of season 3. We got this guy to test, and honestly, if you know that the witness is gonna be a clincher for your, why did you not kill dumb Benny and like shoot that guy? Why did you shoot the lawyer? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Just take the witness out like you've always done for 3 seasons.
By the way, did Vanessa know in season 3 that Matt was Daredevil?
Yes. At the end,
because Daredevil beat the shit out of Kingpin in front of her.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and then he showed his face because she wouldn't leave during that final fight.
Okay.
And the way that it was very, like, I liked the way she was acting with him at the end when he was like, oh, does Fisk know that you put the hit on Foggy? And she's like, does your girlfriend know you're Daredevil? And I was like, ooh, like, what great banter if I had any indication that this is what Vanessa was hiding. I think there's a difference between, like, having something be a surprise and having something be completely out of nowhere. And the Vanessa stuff for me this episode seemed like really out of left field.
Yeah.
But she's the Kingpin. What are you talking about? She's the Kingpin of crime.
I think what this show suffers from is the chopping and moving around and reshooting. Not to the sense that, like, it doesn't dissolve into a puddle of mud like some other series have when they've been reshot, but rather you can't build up momentum at all when things are getting moved around and, like, cut out and, like, switched up and whatever. Like, Improv GM says, in 2 years, if somebody forgot Muse was in this season, I couldn't blame them. Like,
in 2 episodes, if someone forgets Muse was in this season.
Yeah, what does Muse matter? What does Muse matter?
Dispatch stuff very quickly. Like, dang, stop killing off your villains. Please stop. We want to see
especially when they look so cool. His character design is so cool.
Oh man, like,
it's funny. Like, Muse gets taken out so easily, and then Bullseye gets his back broken, falls off a rooftop, like all these things, and he's just walking around fine.
Meanwhile, comic fans are like, hold on, Muse just went to hell for a little bit. He's gonna make a deal and be back. And I'm like, I don't know.
I wouldn't mind if Muse popped up in a supernatural MCU project. You know, be cool with that.
Yeah, but then there's still people that are like, oh no, there's someone that's confirmed for season 2. I bet that's the real Muse, and this was but then there's still people that are like, oh no, there's someone that's confirmed for season 2. I bet, like, I think maybe they just did a bad job.
Yeah. Harith says, I feel like it wasn't out of left field. I guess the Vanessa reveal in episode 1. I mean, I would have guessed the Vanessa reveal if I felt it mattered at all.
it matters.
Does the Vanessa reveal that, like, she ordered the hit on
Yes,
them?
because I called it. If you listen to my podcast, still scrolling, I said that Vanessa ordered the hit on Foggy. I was like,
yeah,
because new Kingpin of Crime. She's like, I didn't make a promise to fucking Daredevil. Bop, pop, pop. But I
But
had
why would Bullseye do anything for Vanessa?
money. He's a hired guy.
money. Yeah, he doesn't
No.
care.
No.
Oh, I have a
He was
chance
trying-
to take out
he
like
was
my
tr-
faves. Great.
He was last time we saw Bullseye, he was trying to kill both of them.
True. And why would
Like,
my biggest point of confusion was why would Bullseye, if he hates Matthew Murdock so much, why would he get on the stand? He knows that Daredevil is Matthew Murdock. Why doesn't he just go, by the way, Matthew Murdock is Daredevil. Fuck you, Matt, and leave. If he hates Karen and Matt and Foggy so much. Forget it. Why pull your punch then, Poindexter? I don't know why, but anyways, very interesting.
Yeah. I don't.
Why would he? Why he has no obligation to save them or protect their identities.
Yeah.
but the only reason he was going after Karen was because he was working for Fisk, and then when he found when Matt told him that Fisk killed Julie and just so he could like unhinge him and make him his hired gun, he didn't go for Matt, he went after Fisk. So him and Matt are not, BFFs or anything, but he ended season 3 knowing that the real enemy is Fisk.
Well, the end of season 3 was a 3-way fight, right? It was.
Yeah, because Bullseye was trying to kill Kingpin, and he was essentially trying to keep him from killing, right?
Right.
He was like, I got to do it, and then he didn't.
Harith says it wasn't Wilson Fisk who hired him at this time. Wilson was off in Kansas trying to deal with Echo.
So I don't think he'd be chill working for the wife of the guy who ruined his life.
Yeah, like
but
how
that's just me.
Like certain comic book mercenaries, certain comic book assassins have like a code of honor, even if they're like completely unhinged. Does this Kingpin or this Bullseye have a sort of like, hey, you hire me, I do the job sort of mentality? Or is he just like, no?
I think he has, I think loyalty is his main thing, because that's why, because he latched on to Kingpin. Kingpin was giving him a purpose, and he was going to murder anyone, including priests, to be fine with that. And then he found poor Julie, and then went straight after Fisk.
Who's Julie?
So Julie is the woman that he worked with at the suicide prevention center. That was like because his therapist told him, like, you don't have any empathy. You have borderline personality, right? You have to find someone.
Was he telling people
that's
going to
be your North Star? No.
Oh no, I'm just making that up. I forget season 3.
Well, there was a weird moment, but no, he never actually told anyone to kill themselves. But
okay.
So he kind of latched onto this Julie person and was like following her, and he was saying like, I need someone to inspire me to be good. He told her that, and then literally when she was on her way home from that, Wilson had her shot in the head. And had them text, like, you're a freak, don't ever contact me again. And then Wilson swooped in to be like, hey, here's a gift for you. It's a Daredevil suit. And he did that, and he killed hundreds of people. And then Matt found him and was like, here's the address of where this person that you really cared about, Fisk, had her murdered.
Fisk rolls up like women, am I right?
Yeah.
You just can't trust them.
Yeah. I guess the Vanessa stuff, I don't know. I haven't been enjoying any of the Vanessa stuff the whole time. It's been very like, I don't know what's going on with it. Like, if we would have seen more of her, really, like, you could tell she really wants to get back to the, to the queen pin stuff when she was like, you threw away our business, right? That kind of stuff. Like, I can kind of see it, but like the therapy sessions just didn't work for me. If it would have just been the two of them talking to each other, but we didn't get a lot of scenes of the two of them talking to each other. we got scenes of them each individually talking to Heather while sitting next to each other. So I feel like because I didn't get a lot of their relationship, it just wasn't really working for me. But I could just be biased. I didn't.
Well, I have a bias, and it's weird because like the two characters that I don't think are doing like anything are Heather and Vanessa. But I'm also giving them
so
a
you're
bias.
just sexist.
No, well, maybe. No, I don't. No, I don't think they're doing. I think other characters aren't doing anything either. But like those two, I'm just like I
think they get the most screen time to do nothing in.
Yeah.
The Heather stuff.
I was
is
gonna
tough
say
for
I
me.
cut them some slack is what I was trying to say because they're hot. So
cool. It's tough because the Heather stuff. Like, I've never really been, like, they kind of made her a character last time, but then they did the whole, like, they've never there's never been a moment where I looked at the two of them and was like, this is a happy relationship. Like, Matt is being such a brat to her, and she's, like, recovering from almost being murdered by Muse and saying, like, but then she's also doing the, like, typical, like, you're just, underdeveloped boys in masks. And he's like, excuse me, I think Daredevil did a good job. And she's like, no, they both suck. And it's like, okay, Matt, maybe you just shouldn't be dating someone who's anti-superhero.
Yeah.
Like, maybe this is not, like, just break up with each other. You stood her up, you didn't, oh, am I late? Like, it makes him look bad. And, like, and very unsympathetic character. Like, it's real hard to get me to not like Matt Murdock, but in that scene, I did not like Matt Murdock. I was like, you actually kind of suck. Like, the way that you're treating this woman, who's not a character that I love, but like, the way that you're treating her on this episode was like wild. Like, he's being so combative, like, he has no, talk about no empathy. He has no empathy for what she went through, isn't gonna listen to her opinions on anything, like, stands her up, comes in late, is only doing it it puts her in the literal crosshairs, right? It's like a borderline abusive relationship at this point, and that's not what I want Matt Murdock to be doing.
Yeah. Why did Matt take the bullet for Kingpin? I get not killing him himself, but taking a bullet for Kingpin. He would take a bullet for Heather, sure. Why would he jump in the way?
Here's Justin, you are muted. I don't know if you know that you're muted.
What the fuck?
Have you been saying incredibly meaningful things?
Yes, and that's just the meaning of life. I guess we'll never know the anti-life equation. Anyways, I was about to say, it's just that I think it was just instinctual. It doesn't matter who was in that line of fire. He was ready to jump in it for anyone, and I think that's pretty understandable, especially after what happened with Foggy. Rest in peace, rest his soul.
I know what's gonna be typed in the chat in 5 seconds because
Foggy's alive.
I saw it earlier, and I know what people are gonna say on the internet, which is when he met with Bullseye, Bullseye said to him, "Hold on, in another life you'd be defending me. Isn't that what good men do? Defend their enemies." So people are gonna try to say that Bullseye saying that to Matt made him instinctively jump in front of a bullet for Wilson Fisk. Here's what I will say. If a priest told him that, maybe he would. Maybe he's at a confessional, right? Maybe he's going over it. And they're saying, if a priest would have said, don't you think, Matthew, in another life you'd have been defending someone? Because that's what Jesus does. He teaches us that we have to love our enemies.
Yeah.
Right? If that happened, and we saw that eating away at him, and then he did that, it would make sense. But you're telling me the guy that killed his best friend told him, you have to be nice to your enemies, Matt. And then he took a bullet for Fisk? No.
Yeah.
I am not buying it.
He would never. I mean, not that. I think he would. I think he would. It's just that I'm surprised he didn't like jump in to save Heather first. Maybe that was the impetus. Like, no. And
Yeah,
then he pushes Heather out the way and then he gets shot.
yeah.
But, like, directly taking the bullet for Fisk
It's different.
after
It's too much.
it also confuses me because now we know that Frank Castle is out and about and Daredevil knows where he is, has a problem with what he's doing, yet he does nothing to stop Frank Castle. And yet he's willing to take a bullet for Wilson Fisk. Frank would laugh him out of the room. Like there's no fucking way Frank would let Matt live that down. Are you kidding? A blind man took a bullet for someone? How do you explain that?
Yeah.
Like, are you a really good lawyer, Matt? Is that how you're explaining it? Just very confused about why.
So for anyone out there who doesn't know, we do a comic talk every Thursday where we talk about comics that come out on that week. So we do that every week. In comic talk, I talk about specific comics. There's team comics and there's solo comics. Like Daredevil is a solo comic, right? And same things apply for that with a show like this. It's not a team related show. It's Daredevil and his supporting cast. It ties in with what Harith is saying in the chat. If the show wants to have lasting power, we need more focus on the supporting cast. And I think the supporting cast is so important to characters like Daredevil, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, people who are like the solo hero. You need a strong supporting cast around you that make you interested in a good Superman series will make you interested in Lois and what she's up to, and Jimmy and what she's up to. And sure, it's a Superman show, but there's still the supporting cast, and you care about them. Everybody has their wants, their desires, their autonomy. But the supporting cast in this show is a little like Kirsten McDuffie is a great character in the comics, doesn't do jack shit in this show.
Yeah.
True.
I want to say I've got an ally in the chat now on YouTube.
What?
Harith is saying very intelligent things. He's making good points, but I have someone that is bitter as me in the chat now. And they said, sorry, there's a Daredevil show with no Daredevil. And Harith made a good point, which was, well, were you mad at season 1 then? But here's the thing. Season 1 of Daredevil had no suit, but it had Daredevil.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing about why I like episode 5. That was Daredevil, right? He might not have been in the suit, but when he's like beating that guy up in the stairwell, but has to do it quietly, so he has to like improvise and use his tie and grab the gun with his thighs before it falls down. Like
you just like that.
Okay, I know. I keep bringing up the thighs. Like that is Daredevil shit, right? There was no Daredevil shit in this episode. He didn't do any Daredevil shit.
What?
Right?
He heard the of Bullseye setting up his sniper position.
Yeah, and he ignored his girlfriend so that he could listen to what Fisk was saying. It's just the framing of that was like, come on, guy. Like why don't you listen with one ear and then the other one? Right? Like it's not doing Daredevil. And that's the whole thing is like all that Matt did this episode was like be mean to his girlfriend.
He was
and yell at Bullseye. But here's my if I may. I have found my thesis.
Okay.
You can see I took it in my notes and I circled it a bunch of times. Which is when Matt is at the prison talking to Bullseye, and Bullseye says something, and Matt goes, "Fuck you." And I was like, there it is. Because I hated when he finally made the decision to put the mask on, that he went, fuck it, and then put the mask on. I think that this is a show that is operating under we have to do something dark and edgy, let's have him say fuck. And it's like, that is not what makes, like, you're talking to Matt Murdock, who looked Wilson Fisk in the face and was screaming and said, I beat you. You didn't win. I beat you. This town rejected you. You will never see Vanessa again. You will rot in a cell for the rest of your life. But this man is like, fuck you. And I'm like, no, that's not what he would say there. What he would say, and like, it's like the primal scream of it all is gone. We took a primal scream and we replaced it with the word fuck. I feel like that's what happened. Like, we've got big, that Muse fight had a lot of blood, but was it just blood for the sake of its TVMA, so we need to have blood?
Wait, which Muse fight?
Matt Murdock did not say fuck once in the Netflix show.
Yeah.
But he said a lot of wild stuff. And I just feel like this is like, not to be like hashtag not my Matt Murdock, but this was a hard episode for people that have a deep abiding love for Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
And I think it all comes down to the fuck you. It comes down to that's like, I think he would have screamed in his face, right? I think he would have done that.
Or
I don't know,
gloated and said,
yeah,
like, no matter what happens, you're in here and I'm out there.
Yeah.
And nothing you can say will get to me. I've lost my best friend and you're here. You can't take any more from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This episode just, it's hard for me to complain about this episode because it seems so disjointed from the rest of the stuff that I'm like, oh, they just had a new creative team and like started on this episode. And where, like, is it a new pilot now? Like, is it a new, like, where we go from here? Also, let's start extrapolating towards the future as we close up this episode. But Matt Shot in this final episode of the season, is he just gonna be walking around with a sling on his arm, like his arm in a sling, and like in the Daredevil outfit? Like, is he gonna wear the Daredevil outfit? Like,
yeah.
Are we doing predictions? Are we doing predictions?
I don't know. It's like, what can we do in this final episode?
I think here's my best guess about what's going. See episode 9, right? My best guess is that Wilson Fisk is going to use this an opportunity to out Matthew Murdock. I think because that's a famous Daredevil story of Wilson Fisk says, "Hey everyone, Matt Murdock is Daredevil." Right?
He's broken all the rules. They've broken their agreement, right?
Yeah, he broke the agreement, and everything is gonna be like, "Listen, the gloves are off. I'm fucking Mayor Kingpin now." He's going to out him. And then season 2 of Daredevil Born Again will be Matt on the run, trying to like probably tries to find Karen, who's also under like witness protection, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, somebody's saying that, I mean, there is a theory out there and also in our chat that Foggy is not dead. He's in witness protection.
Not dead, because even if I guess Vanessa actually pulled the hit on Foggy, that still kind of breaks the agreement. She was in the room, like, don't mess with me, I won't mess with you, right? So gloves are off. So I think that's what's gonna happen. And then the anti-vigilante task force will be hunting down Daredevil. Daredevil, public enemy number 1.
I just want that. That's fine. Just like, I'm okay. I don't know. Just pick a decision. Like, make a decision. Just go.
But that's the thing that he said. He said, if you tell anyone who I am, or if you harm Foggy, or if you harm Karen, you're never going to see Vanessa again. That was his thing.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that Fisk is going to be super jazzed that you broke that agreement, right? But
to save Wilson, though, that's the thing. Like,
but it wasn't even to save Wilson because he was barely back. It was her business, right? Like, yeah. I don't. But it's just so inconsistent. But then. Yeah, this episode, I think, reminded me a lot of episode 6, which I didn't like, where it was just like plot. Here's the plot. And like, oh, we got to check in with this plot. But it made me so much more frustrated because it's so close to the end of the season. Right. Yeah. And I think, like, imagine we didn't know that there was a season that they were going to do 2, right? Imagine if we were in a situation like is happening, not to talk about Yellow Jackets again, but what's happening with Yellow Jackets is
you watch Yellow Jackets? Oh my gosh.
I love Yellow Jackets. If Yellow Jackets doesn't get renewed,
I watch Yellow Jackets.
Will this be a satisfying ending at season 3, right? If Daredevil Born Again had to be on the chopping block and might not get a season 2, is there any possible way they can do anything even close to a satisfying ending in one more episode.
They would do an all-out battle in this banquet hall. That's what they would do. And then Punisher would rappel through the skylight and then start being like, "Rrrr!" And that's, you know, they could do a classic Marvel Act 3 sort of ending where all-out fight, there's some hostages going to the roof. Cherry is like, I got the hostages, you get Fisk. And then Matt's like, okay. And then, like, for some reason, it's almost like Matt hadn't been shot in the shoulder, right? Because he's just going to get up and he's just going to be like, I'm full Daredevil now. And then, like, Bullseye and him going to do this thing. I
watched it back. He got shot in the chest. Like, that was closer to his heart than his shoulder. But someone, Harriet said in the chat, he's going to wear the Daredevil outfit in the finale. Fisk is going to go more extreme against the Vigilantes, causing Punisher and Daredevil to team up to save the Commissioner and BB. Like, that's the season. That's a season-long plot. But nothing's gonna happen next Tuesday, right? Like, it could be Kingpin announcing, okay, it's, you know, no mercy now on the Vigilantes. But, like, what have they been doing to curb vigilante violence by 30%? I don't know.
Also,
what other vigilantes are out there?
What other vigilantes are there? Like,
Swordsman's fine.
Yeah, that scene with Swordsman, like, he was just like, okay. But like Spider-Man, I'm assuming. Like, who else? Oh, I mean, well, all the other Netflix people, right?
Okay.
Like, are we gonna see that?
Miss Marvel? Well, Miss Marvel's in California.
Like, yeah, are we gonna pan over to all of them, like, in a holding cell because or 30% of the Netflix people, like, Iron Fist is fine, but we've got Jessica Jones. Like, what do you mean?
You remember in the final couple episodes of X-Men 97 of the season that came out, where the Sentinels are flying all over the place and blah 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 blah, and you see Spider-Man doing a couple things, and you see Daredevil doing a couple things, and then you see kind of all around the world. We don't really get that in this because you got to pay for the actors. It would just be cool if you did. You know, see a glimpse of Luke Cage dealing with anti-vigilante task force, like
a montage.
Is Luke Cage a vigilante?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he?
According to Kingpin, by Kingpin rules.
Like, no, I'm saying, like, he does not wear a mask. When we last saw Luke Cage, he was just a club owner.
No, didn't he take over the gang or no?
He took over the gang.
Yeah.
And, like, is that vigilante?
Well,
or is he just, am I criminal now? Is Jessica Jones a vigilante, or is he just a private detective?
Well,
people hire me to solve their mysteries, and I do it with my superpowers. Is she even a vigilante? If any of the defenders are even close to a vigilante, I mean, Punisher.
I think if anyone's ever been accused of being a vigilante, he'll just take them out. But also, I feel like the idea, because the images that we've seen so far in season 1 and the season 2 shots have been like Matt and Karen. Hello,
oh my gosh, a celebrity.
Is we've seen
Lisan Al Gaib.
Like Matt, he called you Lisan Al Gaib.
Lisan Al Gaib. It's the chosen one.
I want to talk.
No.
Let me talk.
Get out of here.
The Messiah.
If we okay, you can stay here. I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
What are we talking about? Anti-vigilante task force.
Yeah.
Pictures of next season.
Karen Page. He's in like a disguise.
Yeah.
So if Matt is faking his own death, right? If he's gonna fake his own death.
Okay, this is boring.
Then.
Dang, the chosen one has spoken. Jeez, let's wrap this shit up, guys.
I did.
We do have to wrap up. But
I did spend the day telling her what happens in Yellow Jackets.
Mom.
So.
Oh, are they talking about it?
No, we're not talking about Yellow Jackets.
Aw.
It's not the Yellow Jackets after show.
They sound like, anyways. Yeah, Kingpin's gonna out Matthew Murdock.
Yeah,
and then it sets up season 2 of Daredevil Born Again, where all the defenders come back and Hopefully, Iron Fist is recasted and we forget about the chi guns that he had in the last season. But that's a whole other thing.
I'd
Anyway,
rather just have Colleen Wing, but all right.
Yeah, I was gonna say just bring back Colleen.
no, apparently, you guys didn't hear DEI is not cool anymore. So,
Oh, good point.
Well, no.
it's conservative Disney now. Oh darn!
Wait, they recast Luke Cage with Nicolas Cage.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if Colleen Wing was out and about in this day and age? Like crazy people. If people actually watched Iron Fist, like crazy, they would be so mad. All those awful people.
I think people actually got together to hate on Danny Rand. So it almost was like a shrug when Colleen took over. It was like,
You know what's crazy? Danny Rand and Iron Fist was so bad. We loved DEI. They loved DEI. They're like, you know what?
It's the one time. Like,
the one time they're like, you know what? An Asian person would be good for this. You know, crazy. It united the world.
Everybody. Truth be told, everyone can agree that Iron Fist season 1 was bad. So
bad. Season 2 was better. Still bad.
Season 2 was better.
Give us Heroes for Hire still. But anyways,
anyway, as we're closing this up, we gotta close this up. Because life goes on. Anyone have any closing thoughts? I don't know what's gonna happen. Is Punisher gonna appear in the final episode? I don't know. Are we gonna get some gratuitous sort of cameos?
I don't think I think the only cameo we'll get I think Foggy will be alive.
Yeah.
I think they're like, oh my gosh, Foggy's alive. And we'll see Frank. And then they'll take out some Wilson Fisk baddies. Shout out to Heather for being a real baddie. We love you, Heather. Probably my favorite Daredevil girlfriend so far. Way healthier than Elektra. Anyways, we love to see it.
She honestly, Matt is being the Elektra in the relationship right now.
Ooh, he's
being so Elektra.
Bars, actually, bars.
Yeah, well.
I just feel like if she was actually just his therapist, it might be okay.
Well,
the fact that she's his girlfriend instead of his therapist is bad.
It's funny that you say that because Kirsten McDuffie is supposed to be his girlfriend in the comics. It's his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. But in this, she's just like his law partner. And it's like it's a weird switch.
She had a line where she was like, I barely recognize you. And I was like, do you guys know each other? It's like, how could you? We haven't seen you for more than 6 minutes.
Are we gonna get a scene in the final episode of like there's just like an island and then Foggy has a beard and he's like, I'm alive? And there's like a plane crash in the background, and he's like,
no.
Ah. He's gonna get dropped into Yellow Jackets.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh!
The crossover event of the century.
Wouldn't it be crazy? Wouldn't it be crazy if the Foggy that died was a Skrull?
Oh my god!
We do this Skrull Elektra plot line, but with Foggy. Guys, wouldn't that be insane?
It would be insane. I think that Marvel wants to forget the Secret Invasion exists, but also
how could we forget? Literally, they were offing politicians who they thought were Skrull on live television, weird. And we're supposed to ignore that?
Yeah. Also, what was I gonna say? Oh, I just want to see the Hand come back. I want sort of these like ninjas. I want ninjas again. You know?
I will say my last nit that I'll pick is I thought the music was weird in this episode. I thought the like actual songs were strange choices, and then because we haven't had that a lot, and then like the super opera-y music whenever like they're walking towards each other, the music, and I was like, okay guys, like come on now. Yeah. Because there was a moment where it's like, shouldn't we the system feels useless. I was like, okay, we took a whole season to go over how the system is useless. Yeah. Season 3, I just watched it. And then Matt, is it Josie's? I wrote, oh look, Cherry's here. I said, shouldn't Fisk be going after Daredevil, right? Like, he's got this anti-vigilante task force. He heard that Daredevil was back. He threatened him to say, you better not be up to your activities. He knows that Daredevil is back. So if we're to believe that time has passed since the Muse attack, why has Fisk not made a move against Matt? Like, it's just all so inconsistent.
Yeah.
Good point.
I want to thank both of you so much for coming on the show and talking about Daredevil Born Again, specifically episode 8. Before we get going, though, I want to also thank everybody out there in the chat. We got Merlin the Hermit on Twitch. We got Harith. We got LC Vigilante. We had Improv GM in our YouTube chat. So thank you guys. And Matthew Levine. Thank you, everybody, so much for contributing. Before we get going, Justin, where can we find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
You can find me in your ear holes at Still Scrolling, the podcast where I talk about pop culture with my friends Derek and Stefania. Release an episode every Tuesday. Monday, we're feeling frisky. And we'll be doing another Daredevil after show tomorrow. So keep that locked. But if you want to see me in the flesh with the Dimithri, we'll be in Chicago at C2E2. That's Chicago Entertainment Expo, whatever it's called. Yeah, we'll be having fun. We'll be in costume. I don't know about Dimithri if he's going to be in costume.
I'm not going to be in costume other than my costume as game show host. So.
Oh, yeah. I'll be dressed as Dimithri at C2E2. It should be fun. Come say hi to us. And I don't know. We'll maybe take a picture with you. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, should be fun. Are you excited for that?
I am, but doing a lot of work. So,
Yes, we have a whole live show. Come to the live show. We're doing a trivia game where you have to beat me at trivia. I know it's a pretty hard task, but I know you could probably do it if you try hard enough. Go to Dimitri's show. It's going to be a great time.
Yep. April 11th, 3:30 to 5:30 at Chicago Comics and Entertainment Exposition or something like that. That's what it C2E2 stands for. But thank you, Justin, so much for coming on here. Sara, where can we find you, wonderful co-host?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Ms_Marauder. We've got some WonderCon footage coming through. We are doing a Star Wars celebration and then getting ready for Anime Expo and San Diego Comic-Con. Thank you to LC Vigilante for being my partner in bitterness. I appreciate you supporting me in the chat.
And also,
The son of Goyim.
And yeah, if you guys want to do a Yellow Jackets podcast and invite her on.
Oh my god.
Took a personality test and she's Shauna.
No.
Oh no.
I want to tell them who you are.
Oh no.
Misty.
And I got Misty. Yeah.
Misty Quigley.
Also,
And my mom got Jackie, and my mom was like, I simply would have slept on the porch. And I was like, I don't think that would have made enough difference.
No, yeah.
But we are Yellow Jackets family. It's a family affair. So.
So that's a different show. So we don't have time to talk about that. But yes, I am also on the Yellow Jackets train. So cool. Thank you everybody out there. Thank you everybody in here. If you want to follow me personally, you can follow me like on Instagram or Facebook or whatever at This Is Dimithri. But if you want to follow the Keeg and all the podcasts that we do under the Keeg, like this, the Daredevil Born Again After Show, or Comic Talk that we do every Thursday, or the Keeg Talk, or the Keeg Chats, or whatever. We're going to do also an Andor After Show once Andor kicks off for those 4 weeks that Andor's on. So, you have that to look forward to.
At 4 in the morning.
No. It's going to come out 6 p.m. It's going to come out 6 p.m. Pacific time. I looked it up. So we might be able to just do an 8 o'clock Andor After Show.
No, there's 3 episodes every.
Yeah, but people were saying that it's between 38 and 50 minutes per episode. So, if we start at 6, we just gotta, we'll figure it out. That's for future Dimithri to figure out. But yes, you can follow the Keeg at the Keeg Show on TikTok and Instagram. Those are our 2 biggest platforms. At the Keeg Show, or / the Keeg Show, or whatever. Threads, Blue Sky, all that stuff. Daredevil Born Again After Show. This is the last time it's going to be on a Tuesday, because next week we're not going to do it on a Tuesday. We're going to do a full season wrap up on Saturday of next week. So once that episode comes out, we got to do that. So, yeah, that is pretty much it. If you guys haven't already done so, no matter where you're watching us or listening to us, whether it's on Twitch, whether it's on YouTube, whether you're listening to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, or SoundCloud, like, comment, subscribe, follow. Let us know you're out there. Thank you to everybody who was out there. And also, if you're into Daredevil, go to your local comic shop, comicshoplocator.com. Find a comic shop near you and pick up some Daredevil comics. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Justin, for being our special guest for this episode. Thank you to Sara for being co-host. Once again, I am your host, Dimithri Perera, and then, also co-host
Sara and
who
Evie.
I just said.
Special guest.
I need to say something.
Okay, what are you gonna say? Is Evie saying something?
I wanted to say that I'll make sure and I'll try my best if I can beat you at that trivia test.
Oh,
Okay.
Good luck, little kid.
All right, thank you guys so much. This has been another episode of Daredevil Born Again Aftershow for episode 8. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Wow. We got Lisan Algay.
Super strong or super fast. Gotta beat the boss and get the loot. Cause it's the king. And we got geek news.